Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, March 17th, 2022. Well, the market to continue to go up today as we had suggested yesterday, and I actually was looking for, but today's movement has actually allowed me to put an Elliott count into what is now turning out to be a nice C wave up. So again, just to review, I continue to look at this as a finishing C wave to complete a minute wave 2. Thus far, it is holding within parameters that stay consistent with this being the case, which is actually good for the larger count. It doesn't mean that between today, tomorrow, and maybe even the start of next week, that the markets may just threaten the large account that I have in, and that would be that this minor 2 would come into play to be moved or even higher, as I discussed on yesterday's updates. And I'll just review that real quickly for folks that, depending on what happens here, and I'm not actually looking for it, but should the market really start to come up and get above 15,260, now again, it's going to take a lot of power to get up there, and it's going to take and today's power getting it above 14,100 wasn't enough. They really didn't put it like they had the last 2 sessions. Tuesday's and Wednesday's session added over 1,000 points to the NASDAQ. And that was the power. Today, we kind of stood back. We got it at the end of the day, but it wasn't as powerful throughout the entire day. So, but we have to wait and we'll see what happens. But that alternate view would suggest then that we're still, those are the highs would be in, and this would change to an intermediate wave A, an intermediate wave B, and this would become intermediate wave C, and underneath it would sit a primary A wave. Then the balance would be an intermediate degree B wave to form a primary B wave. So if this be primary A, that's intermediate wave A, intermediate wave B, and we're in an intermediate C wave up to form the primary B wave. Now that's out there. We're not getting confirmation in any way, shape, or form that this is what is going to take place or that's what's in progress. We continue to see, and I continue to feel that we are still within an intermediate third wave down. We completed minor waves 1 and 2. We're in that minor third wave down, and that within that, we have completed minute waves 1, and we're in the process of finishing up minute wave 2. As bizarre it has been, and as tangled, messy it can be, I've now taken some time and I've looked at it, and I'm kind of putting a count on what we've done thus far. So let me see if I can get that open. And I'm going to leave the Fibonacci's up for just right now, but let's just try to follow here. So if this is a minute wave 2, these need to come down actually. These need to change colors, and this changes all of those. Those need to be sub a minute. And so these are they're correct in that it's an A and a B, but the degree is wrong according to the color that I've labeled it. So this all changes, but these are sub-minute waves inside this minute. And that might be the kicker, because they're pretty big, but they happen very, very quickly, and they're just more powerful. So right now, I'm just going to leave it as it's an A and a B. And we're working on a minute wave 2, and now we're in that C wave. So the C wave, I've got it counting 1, 2, and then within the third wave of C, it subdivides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, that was the anomaly. It came all the way down, shot all the way back. And again, I went to the closing basis just to qualify it. And you can see that the 4, still leaving it down there because that's where the price actually came. But you can see that there's quite a bit of distance in between. So I don't consider it overlap. Now, going back to that candle. So there's wave 4. And then we have a very small wave, or wave 5, to complete that sub-minute wave 3. And then we have the minute wave 4, sub-minute wave 4 at today's pre-opening low at 13,819. Kind of got challenged a little bit once or twice, but did not, it held. And then that set us up to begin this sub-minute wave 5 up. Now, right now, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're coming back down off of that high at 14,132. Now, that was not necessarily resistance. Our next resistance actually set at 14,173, but we got above. And so we're still in an area just below 1.618, where wave C would equal 1.618 of wave A. And that's the Fibonacci relationship. But getting up close to it, if this starts to decline and we start to break back down, I'm going to be looking for the development of 5 waves. And that would be on the hourly chart. And if I get the 5 waves down, then this will give us confirmation that this is complete, that C is complete, that minute 2 is complete. And then once again, if that's the case, then I'm going to be looking for this to decline much more quickly than it is right now, much more quickly than what we saw at points today. It should just start and not look back. So again, in my view, there will be a reason for it to happen. So the market will have to latch onto something that's going to come out in the news, I'm going to take it, or possibly, any of the economic figures that are out, or something that comes up that is going to upset this feeling of bullishness and that we're okay, that the markets are okay, that inflation is going to be under control, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what can kind of contribute to that a little bit today was gold turned around. Gold ended up 33 on the day. Crude oil turned around. Crude oil at one point was up over $9 again, heading for 105 versus closing and finishing at 103.75. So whatever, to talk about, is inflation really under control? I don't know. You tell me. So again, these factors go into how people want to trade. Now, so what I'm going to be looking for from here, we have to continue to allow for an additional rise up. We do have that resistance at 14,173 and then additional at 14,239. Above that, we're pushing up here to 14,462. And then I'm going to go up to that 4-hour chart. And the reason, actually, maybe I can do it right here. Let's just check this out. I got to go out because I opened the chart up. Let me go out to the 4 hours. So, because we've got to see where wave 2, nope, get out of there. Wave 2 sits right here at minor wave 2, the top of 14,391. So that after 14,239, that's it. The next would be 14,391. And that's that break point that shoves us into that other larger B wave going up. So I'm feeling pretty good that this is likely going to be containing this particular move, and that maybe we'll start to see some sellers come in. Again, I think the speed at which I want it to drop or want to see it drop, that's going to be important. And so we need to just keep our eye on everything. See, this 14,462 up there breaks that zone right there, that's no break zone to keep this current count in play. If this count gets negative, negated, then we jump to the other count that I just discussed. And it doesn't really imply that the correction is off. It just puts a different labeling on the correction of what we've done so far and allows this B wave rally, which I really have been expecting further on down the road. I'm not really looking for it right now, but maybe everything's been accelerated and now here we are. So again, it's a part of the larger correction that's been playing out. It would just be coming a lot quicker, in my view, than what I had anticipated. Nonetheless, for tomorrow, it's expiration. I think a lot of today and what happened in this buildup was these larger firms now pushing things to levels they want to see for tomorrow's expiration. And it's the monthly expiration. So it's not that it's a weekly. So there's a lot more options that expire. We've seen them. That crude had some that expired today. You'll see it across all of the sectors. So everybody gets to have an expiration tomorrow, and that could influence where prices go. It also could keep us in a tighter range. Today, believe it or not, for me, was not as easy to trade. And there are many periods of a choppy volatility, and that kind of can make me crazy because the market is very indecisive, and you're trying to catch a move, and it just is not happening. And because of the volatility, instead of going up and capturing $100 or $200, it's dropping down, and you're down $200 or $300, and you can't do that too many times before you're just down too much. So it was a little bit more difficult of a trading day, and it just ends up costing more in commissions than maybe what even you can make. And so that's just the kind of day it was. It really, until the very end, was giving more of the picture of like it was going to be an inside day. Again, 2 massively up days. You figure you're going to have a little day, a little pullback, and just kind of some inside trades. But at the end of the day, they pulled it out and they ran it back up above 14,100, put in an additional new high, got us up closer to that other resistance level. So I'm going to be looking for the signs that we're going to be able to put a 5 up here, and then put the wave C, and then put the minute 2. Again, if that's the case, the clear sign is going to be the market just begins to tumble. The market just begins to go down consistently, accelerating, breaking below moving averages, which are now all pointing up. This is the hourly, all of them pointing up. It's got to break the 8, it's got to break the 20, it's got to break the 50, it's got to break the 200. So from here, it's got to drop 400 points before it starts to break that 200. Can it do it in a day? Sure can. And that would be that sock to the jaw of the market, that knockout punch that would knock the market to the mats and find it very difficult. You know, it'd be down for the count. And that's what I think it's going to take to really reverse all of this thinking that's kind of coming on here. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. So again, for tomorrow, I'm allowing for some additional upside. We've got resistance at 14,173 and then 14,239. Both remain in play until we start to break back below 13,900. That would kind of give us a little bit greater strength that, okay, maybe those are going to remain in place and we're now done and we're moving lower. So downside, once it gets going, I would expect it to be accelerating. I would expect it to move more quickly and to just start breaking below moving averages before even taking a rest to take a breath. That's what I would be looking for to give support and confidence that this wave 2 is done and wave 3 is underway. That's where I'm going to leave it for right now. Continue to use the moving averages. Again, from the hourly down to the 30, the 15, the 5, the 2, the 1. Use them all in conjunction. We take signs off of the daily. Now I'm going to show you something on the daily that's not going to be consistent with what we want. It closed above the 20. It closed above the 20 today, well above the 20. That's a double positive. Closed above it yesterday, closed above it today. After coming down and retesting, getting below it, closed back above it. That's a positive. So the first thing that needs to happen as well to give us confidence that this is done is the daily needs to come down and close back below the 20. And it's very possible to do. Don't be mistaken. They can do it tomorrow. But I just want to show that technically the daily chart sits in a little bit of a positive position. So the hourly chart, basically the same, but we're seeing some turn and we can see some weakness creep back in. So follow the moving averages, trade smart, and have a great trading day tomorrow. The next update will be on Sunday, March the 20th.